Hello, hello. And we are live. Awesome. All right. Only 2 minutes late today. Pretty good. Yay. So we're live. Thank you so much for joining us. I am going to take a quick second and just make sure I forward this. How is everybody today? Happy Wednesdays. I mean, Thursday. Off. So today we're talking about obstacles. If you are live with me, chat down below. What's an obstacle or a challenge that you are facing or that you have faced recently, you've been through? Let me know in the chat below. Hang on, I'm going to go to mine. Okay. There we go. I got it. See if I can share it to my. All right. Here we go. It would be cool if I could figure out how to do all of that ahead of time and faster. 11:04. Okay. All right. I'm going to pop open our thing for today. So again, we are talking about obstacles and we have a framework, of course, that we're talking about today. And I would love to hear if anybody has any guesses on what that is. Why can I not find any? There we go. Here we go, here we go. Let's see, I'll bet I didn't share my screen, did I? Share screen. All right, we're in. 11:05. We should start 10 minutes early. All right. Overcoming obstacles, 4 steps to triumph in personal and professional growth. So this is important in so many ways. We're going to go through it right here at the beginning as to some reasons why it's important. But the first thing I want you to know is you are not alone. When you get stressed out, when you start feeling like, you're in this crazy world and you're the only one going through it, just remember, if you are trying at all, you're going through it. I was on a call yesterday and talking to some people and they were concerned and nervous about, not being where they should be or getting in that spiral. And I was like, we all have the same, as coaches, as entrepreneurs, we all have a lot of the same issues that we go through. And if we're not growing, you're not growing, you're dying, right? So if you're not growing every day, then you don't have these issues. And maybe people outside of our world who are not growing, who, you've known those people who are the exact same, since 20 years ago and just are content. That's okay. That's them. We're not those people. So because we're not those people, we are always striving to do more, be more, and have more done. And because of that, we face challenges. It's just what it's all about. So just know that you are not alone. Obstacles, you need to embrace them, look at them as a good thing because it means that you are in that growth phase. So some of the reasons, this one is personal, right? The personal reasons, resilience building. And one of the things that we really want to get out of that is it's a process, but the more you do it, the more you get accustomed to doing it and the better equipped you are to handle it. Self-discovery, when we can go through 1,000,001 questions asking ourselves what we're going through, why we're going through it. Self-discovery is a beautiful thing. And again, our internal growth, our personal growth is going to help in a million and one ways in our businesses. So adaptability. And if you think about, if you have kids, you've been through all of this, challenges with your kids, what that's all about. If you don't have kids, just think about, your pets or whatever it is. But we all go through those challenges with somebody else. And then those internal ones where we're the person struggling. And that's what we're talking about today is we're the ones struggling, but you build up that resilience. You build up ways that you can figure it out. The ways that you can adapt, but also a confidence in yourself and a strength that really moves into every other place in your life. And once you can figure that out for yourself, you can help other people figure that out. You can also use that inner strength in different situations. And so the next one is at work. If you are still working, and most of us are entrepreneurs, so my assumption is all of us. Some of you are coaches and still have a full-time job. Some of you are entrepreneurs, still have a full-time job. So maybe career advancement, if that's one of the things. But problem-solving skills, that you can see, personal and coaching. Now, if you're coaching your own problem-solving skills, but you're also building up problem-solving skills for other people, right? So the ones that you can help your clients solve their problems, innovation, creativity, career advancement. All right, we're going to get through some of these, but career advancement, not so much. In our world, it's upping our game. I mean, every year you have new challenges. I was also talking about this with some clients the other day. Make sure you're journaling what you're doing, because it's very funny. You will look back and be like, God, what did I get done? I didn't get anything done this week. And then you talk to somebody else and you realize, oh, I did that. So write it down so you know for yourself. That actually happened to me very recently. I was almost feeling like I hadn't gotten anything done, and I was talking to somebody else and they started talking about something I did. And I was like, oh yeah, a couple of really big things that I just blew over. So try to write those down daily, write at least one thing down daily. And then at the end of the week, try to write some things down that you've done that week. Sometimes even the small ones are the big ones later on. So write them all down. All right, the framework. It is 4 letters. First letter, R, recognize. Recognize the obstacle. This is the most important piece. In my language school, I still have a small language school. I don't teach so much anymore, but I still have the language school. And one of the things that we teach there, or, the teachers teach now, is that when you're learning a new language, it's difficult. It's really hard, especially as an adult, to learn a new language because you have to put yourself out there. And a lot of people don't want to put themselves out there. And that's why so few people will take the time as adults to learn a new language, because it's scary and it's uncomfortable. And it's, you're hearing a little bit of a parallelism here. It's a lot like being an entrepreneur. It's scary. It's uncomfortable. You have to put yourself out there. But one of the things is you have to recognize when there's an issue. And so when you can recognize the obstacle, that is absolutely the first step in when you're learning a language. If you're saying something incorrectly, you may never know you're saying it incorrectly. But once you recognize that you're saying it incorrectly, now you probably will continue to say it incorrectly, but you're correcting. Oh, I needed to say this. I needed to say that. And then eventually you start saying this, and all of a sudden you don't have that issue anymore. So the same thing here is the first step is to recognize what those obstacles are. Just figure out what's going on. So that first little picture is a beautiful picture of clear water. So you want a clear understanding, watch this cheese, a clear understanding of the hurdle that you're facing. little intro to Erica Cheese there. A clear understanding of the hurdle that you're facing. And the reason why is because sometimes we think it's one thing and it's another thing. We'll get into that. but you want to get as clear as possible about what that challenge, what that obstacle, what that hurdle is. Identify. So you want to identify what's missing, right? Is it a skill gap? Is it a resource limitation? You don't have enough money. You don't have the right equipment. Is it a mindset issue? And I will just give you a little hint. But when I worked with a lot of businesses, I can guarantee you that almost 99.99999% of the time, the at least original or root cause, that's the second thing I'm about to talk about, but is the mindset of the owner. We have limiting beliefs. We have all sorts of things about us. So when you're identifying what the obstacle is, that's the first place I want you to look, because a lot of the time it's going to be right there, right in front of your face if you're looking at a mirror. So identify, is it you? Is it, and not you, I don't want you to think it's you, but is it some sort of limiting belief that you have? Maybe it's an external barrier. Maybe something else is causing that to happen. So you want to identify what it is. You want to do a root cause analysis. Where's the origin? So I bought this new mouse and it is horrible. I don't know why I cannot figure out how to do it. Root cause. Do you like that little root? The tree root cause analysis. So you want to figure out where exactly it came from. So let's pretend it's a productivity issue. You're not getting everything done on time, or a lot of us have this problem, right? Is it that you just don't have enough time? Maybe you have too many things scheduled and you just don't have enough time. Is it poor time management? Maybe you're taking too long on one thing and not long enough on the things that you want to do. Is it a lack of motivation? You've put something in your schedule that you really just don't even want to do? Or is it some other deep issue? Are you so nervous you can't start? Do you need a little push or a pull? So the root cause analysis, once you can figure that out, it's a lot easier to move forward. Then you're going to want to do an impact assessment. And by impact, I know I put the little car there, but you can't even see what that says. I know I put the car crash there, but it's not necessarily negative. It's not necessarily negative. What's the impact? So the impact of doing it and the impact of not doing it, positive and negatives, right? The impact of what the issue is causing. The reason you want to do this is you want to figure out where it stands on your list of priorities. If it's something that's holding you back from the next step. Example, when I was in college, I am the definition of persistence, but when I was in college, I wanted to be a business major. I don't even know if I knew exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do something in business. So in order to get to your major classes, you had to pass calculus. Well, limiting belief, I'm sure. I was terrible at math. Calculus, I still to this day don't even know what it is. I could not even tell you, but I had to pass calculus. So the impact of me not passing calculus meant I can't go on to business school. So in my mind, that domino effect was an entire lifetime of issues if I did not pass calculus. So this became an enormous focus. Past calculus was huge in my life. But if it was something that really just didn't matter, like maybe it's, I'm not taking enough time to get my nails done. Maybe I weigh that on a scale of 1 to 10 of priorities, and it's still down there at the bottom in a scale of 1 to 10 because it's not, because it's not necessarily affecting what my top priorities are. So you want to do an impact assessment and figure out where that is. Why? It's going to help you in so many ways. Again, focus if it's something big. Maybe just figuring out that it's not so big, it's going to alleviate a lot of that stress from your mind. It's going to let you know, okay, maybe I'm giving this a little bit too much of my time and focus and energy. All right, next one, contextual understanding. In context, again, I'm going to go back to the English language. There are a lot of things that you can say, and if you do not understand the context around it, it's totally off base. I wish I could think of an example right now, and I didn't write one down. But contextual understanding means you need to understand its position or where it's at and what is going on around you. So you can bring in the impact assessment when you're trying to figure out the contextual understanding. But are you looking at it in the right context? Is it important in what you want to get done? Is it where you want to be looking at? We can go into more on that if you don't get it. That was a terrible explanation. All right, seeking perspective. So you can see that in context, I put the before and after to kind of round that up to see if I could explain it better. But seeking perspectives. So one guy looks at this number, it looks like a 6. The other guy looks at it, it looks like a 9. So you need to figure out from which perspective you're looking at it. And I said seeking perspectives because a lot of times we're right in front of an issue. Have you ever been sitting at your computer and you're trying to find something and somebody's standing behind you and they're finding everything way faster than you? It's because you're too close to the problem. And that's just a fact of life. You're just too close to the problem. They can see it clearer because they have a little bit broader perspective. So a lot of times seeking perspective on that obstacle is one of the biggest things that's going to help you get through that and get through it faster, easier, and just better. All right. And the last thing, I don't think I have a slide for this though, is self-awareness. You want to start figuring out go through this whole list, go through the whole list and figure out that self-awareness of, okay, I understand my obstacles. I understand where I'm at. If you understand your identifications, what perspective, wrap all of that up. And that gives you a much better self-awareness, a positioning of recognition. All right. So number 1 was R. Ooh, I almost gave it away. Recognize the obstacle. The next one is I. This is kind of an odd one. Identifying resources. And the real I is invoke resources, but identifying just sounds so much better. So I want to say belief in yourself for that first one, but yeah, yourself. What are your own resources that you can bring to the table? And that middle one is what other outside like tech and frameworks, maybe you can bring a framework to help you figure out that maybe you need a piece of software. If it's productivity, maybe use a productivity software that's going to help you get it done faster. Maybe you start using a content calendar to get your content out. Maybe you use a CRM. Now I'm going to blank out, but maybe you use a thing that keeps your contacts in place. And the one on the right is outside resources like community. So community is big in everything and anything we do. I've heard a lot of people say it's a lonely world to be an entrepreneur. I disagree wholeheartedly. And if you think it is, you're not doing it right. You are not doing it right. It is not a lonely world. There are so many of us out there, and you just need to find your tribe, your right group. I have an amazing one if you want to be a part of that. But find your place. It's the way to get there farther faster is to definitely have your own tribe. All right, so some internal resources we can use. Internal resources, our own skills and knowledge. What happened in the past? What have we been through? And don't just think of this particular situation. It could be an experience in a relationship that you can bring into your problem at work or in your business or something like that. So cross-pollinate, we'll talk about that later too, but just think about that. So your skills and knowledge. Personal resilience. So start thinking of ways to build that up. Meditate, do yoga, affirmations, writing down your to-dos every day. You're repeating your, BHAG every day, or the goals that you want to complete for this month, this quarter, this year, this day, this week, whatever it is, today, repeat, rewrite it, whatever it is. Building up that resilience and doing some of these things helps build up that resilience. What are the ones that work for you? Journaling. I know that helps a lot of people. I, of course, recommend it. So your internal ways to do that. And that last one is get creative. So sometimes we need to take a step back. Have you ever noticed like the most brilliant ideas come when you're in the shower? It's because you've let your mind rest. You've let your mind let go of everything that's going on. I heard this morning in a podcast, everybody that knows me knows I'm a podcast lunatic. Heard this morning in a podcast, somebody talking about how for them to get into flow, skiing is one of the places that they're most in flow. And what does that mean? You've let your mind relax to a place of super creativity or state, right? So it doesn't mean that you need to go skiing every day. Writing sometimes can help people get in the state of flow. But what opens up your creativity? Maybe it is, doing a puzzle. Maybe it's, just going out on a Friday night with your friends and letting loose, relaxing. Maybe it's, I don't know. You can think of a million things, but what opens up your creativity? For me, podcasting. I love listening to podcasts because it gives me so many new ideas and I get so excited about it. So podcasting. Right. External. What are some external things? This one over here on your left, your professional network. We should be growing our professional network as one of our base priorities, because leverage, if you ever heard me talk about leverage, I have 6 layers of leverage, and that is definitely in one of those 6 layers of leverage. Why? Because you are going to get there further faster with a network, but it's also a great go-to. So we're looking for resources to help us with our obstacles, right? It's a great go-to if you have a good network. Maybe you have a group that you can chat in about certain problems. Maybe you have, how you have a different friend for, if you want to laugh, if you want to tell a deep, dark secret, if you want to talk about work or business, maybe you have different friends for different things. Same thing with networks. Maybe you have a different network for different things. That's definitely a place that you want to look, is your professional networks. That middle one, tools, technology. We mentioned this earlier. So have that go-to tool. Look at your tools. I know if you're anything like me, I have a plethora, but an abundance of tools and technology that I have accumulated over time. So maybe I'm not using it. Maybe I used to use it and I'm not anymore. Maybe I really, truly do need something new. That happens all the time too, right? I know. I hear you. So maybe that is it. And maybe this is, now you figure out a way to justify that new cool tool that you really wanted. And now you've got this obstacle that you need to get over. And that tool is the perfect one to do it. Maybe it's framework again. Frameworks are amazing. If you can keep track of the frameworks that you use with your clients, the frameworks that maybe your mentor uses with you, pull that in, pull all of that in together. The last one is informational resources. My favorite. Podcasts, books. I'm also an avid reader. You'll hear me quote books, not necessarily quote, but talk about what they say in books all the time. So books, podcasts, courses, programs, anything like that are external. What does this say? Leveraging community. So the one over on the left, a mentor, a coach. I will be honest with you, and this is, you're going to say like, yeah, that's because you're a coach. It's not. It is not because I'm a coach. Every single person should have at least one mentor or coach at all times. What are you focused on right now? If you're focused on building your business, get a business coach. If you're focused on sales in particular, maybe you need a sales coach. If you're focused on, something else, whatever it is, how to run a half marathon, get a marathon coach. Whatever it is that you're focused on, you could always use the help of a coach. And it is, I can't tell you, if you don't have one, if you've never had one, I cannot even explain to you, but go there farther, faster. Definitely. That next one is leveraging community. Yeah. So having other people help you put those puzzle pieces in. When you leverage your community, you can ask other people. Collaborate with other people. That's so fun. At the beginning of coaching, people get really nervous about collaborating with people who do the same thing as them. But as you move on, you're going to start realizing that it's super fun to collaborate with somebody, another business coach. Super fun. Why? Because there's so much more we can build together than alone. And it just makes it more fun. So collaborations, and it doesn't always have to be somebody doing the same thing as you. It can be somebody doing something different than you. So that last one is support groups. Always be in groups. And as entrepreneurs, I never want to hear somebody say, oh, it's a lonely world. It's so not a lonely world. We have groups everywhere. And I'd love you to be part of mine. Let me know if you want to be. All right, the framework, RI. This next one is kind of a long one, so I'm going to try to get fast. Let's see what time it is. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're good. All right, so this next one is S for strategize and innovate. So this is where we're kind of getting into the work part of the framework, right? The first one was recognizing it. The second one was invoking your resources. All right, now that I know I have a problem, where am I going to get the help that I need? Is it internal help? Is it outside help? We're going to figure out, is it, some of the groups that we're in? That's that next one. Well, now we're on strategy and innovate. So let's figure out, what are we going to do about it? Strategize and innovate. So that first one is creative problem solving. Could you tell? Do you try to guess my circles? Creative problem solving. The second one, flexibility and adaptability. Super important in everything that we do. And the last one is, yes, you guessed it, having those tools in your toolkit. All right, creative problem solving. You're like a clicking, sorry. All right, creative problem solving. Think outside of the box. I love that picture. Think outside of the box. You want to, again, we talked about this. Where do my genius ideas come? A lot of times it's in the shower. Maybe I need a longer shower to figure this out. Another thing that people believe or don't believe, I 100% believe, is power of the mind. Our brains are very powerful. So to think outside of the box, a lot of times we can tell our brain what our issues are and start telling your brain, hey, I need to start thinking outside the box. What are some great ways to think outside of the box? Asking ourselves, I need to think outside of the box on X problem. What are some great ways to think outside of the box? Believe it or not, when you start going to sleep, your brain's like working on it. So thinking outside of the box. What am I thinking of here? Oh, just okay. So this next one is like brain. Sorry, it's not a brain. This next one's like brainstorming, right? How can you brainstorm? And this could be with others. You see all those little hands over there. So brainstorm, get creative by yourself first, but maybe that's when you can invoke those resources, right? Is it a group? Is it a mentor? Is it a network that you have? Whatever it is, start brainstorming some ideas. And then look at your frameworks, your systems. What do you have in place that might help? And I am going to give you a little something that might help as well. But figure out if you have and the RISE framework, obviously, go through this. But figure out if you have already some frameworks in place, or if you need to find some new frameworks in place, and how you can get those in for your creative problem solving. Oh, I just really want to go back. You didn't notice that message, man. I did go back. This last one, besides frameworks, is also interdisciplinary. I mentioned that earlier. It's kind of a big word. All I mean by it, this is like a company or something. I don't know what that is, but all I mean by that is, so in my world, I do marketing. And right now, my main focus is marketing for coaches. But does that mean that I cannot pull information from other businesses? So if I look at, for example, let's say another one of my clients is it's basically like a tourism type business. If something is working in that industry and I pull it over into the coaching industry, how cool is that? How cool is that? So maybe you're thinking of scrolling on Pinterest, right? That's one way, but also looking at different industries. Don't just look at your own industry. And somebody taught me this a while ago. What was it called? Like kitchen sink, something or other. But it's how you relate to things. So I said earlier, don't think of just problems that you've solved in the business that you're in. Think of problems that you solved in prior companies that you owned, in prior places that you worked, in family issues that you had. You know, maybe you are a volunteer or you go to church. Think of all of these things, because just because it's not, somebody building a business that you're pulling from, it can still be super relevant and you can use it. And that's way to get super creative in what you're doing. All right, enough on that. Adaptability and flexibility. So that first one is you have to really I don't know what's wrong with my brain today. All right, so let's go to the top one. The top one is, you have different paths. Don't get stuck on one path. You may have to pivot. So if we have a massive goal, there are 101 ways to get there. 101 ways. So if you've chosen this path, awesome. Stick to it. But there may come a time when that path you realize is not the right way, is not the right way for you, isn't working, whatever it is, and you have to pivot. That's okay. And I am not saying change paths every 10 minutes either. I tell my clients, stick to it until you make 100,000 and then move. But there are circumstances where that's not possible. So always be adaptable, be flexible, be open to the possibilities. The one on the bottom left is you need to also look at the different possibilities. Look at the different things around you and have an open mind when you're looking at them. Like, don't zero yourself in on the problem. Think holistically when you're looking at the problem, because there could be a lot of different things that you need to look at and kind of big picture that. And then the little loop-de-loop is sometimes we need to iterate, which means do it again and again and again. And I found this so much and look for the patterns and stuff we talk about. But I found this so much in local businesses because they're very small, which you are too, so pay attention. Because they're very small, what they end up doing is they find something or they hear something and they're like, oh, let me try that. And then they try it and it works. And they're like, oh my God, this is so cool. This is really working. But then they hear something else. Oh, you should be doing this. So they drop that and try something else. And then they drop that thing that was working and now they're trying something else and it's working. So sometimes you need to iterate. Sometimes you need to do it over and over and over again and maybe evaluate, analyze, and make it better. Sometimes it's just a process of going over and over again. And that's what pushes you forward. That's what gets you, going forward. So when we're looking at our obstacle, check and see, what have I done before? Maybe I need to just be doing more of it. Maybe that's why it's not working. Practical application. All right, so case studies. You can look at other people's case studies. Success leaves clues. Figure out, how did somebody else solve this problem before? Even if it's an enormous corporation, take from them, what is it that they did? And, apply the parts that you can apply to your business. So what is it that they did that was so perfect for their situation? What is it that they did? So read through case studies. You may not find that fascinating and fun like I did. That's what got me hooked on marketing, was my once I finally passed calculus, I got into my major classes and I started studying marketing and the case studies. To me, it was like, watching real life. What are some of those shows on TV? My brother loves reality TV. I can't stand reality TV. But like Shark Tank, for example, that's my version of it. Shark Tank. I liked Shark Tank because it's like taking you through what somebody did. The case studies of companies is awesome. I love hearing how they started, the obstacles that they faced. What did they go through? How did they get through it? What did they do next? What happened next? Because if you look at companies, a lot of the big companies, they've been through a lot of stuff and on grandiose scale. One of the beauties of you being very small is you can fix it in a second because you don't have to go through all that red tape to figure out. You don't have, 1,001 people. Anyway, case studies, check them out. How can you apply them to what you're doing? The middle one is networking and workshopping. Can you A, join a network, or B, go to a workshop? Is there something on that you could take to advance, get you over that obstacle? And if you can do, a weekend workshop, that's awesome. Get through it. And then the last one is toolbox again. What do you have already that you can apply to this problem? Start looking in your own toolbox, right? Personal, internal, external, everything. Start looking. What do you already have that you can apply to this problem? All right, the whole framework, rise. Oh. Can I leave out? Oh, I did. Hold on. Oh. Let me see. Okay. I might have given away. Oh, I did. Okay. So we're still on ignore Erica. That we're not on the E yet. I just put it in the wrong place. All right. So, this is ugly. Define the goal. This is dare to innovate. So this is strategize and innovate still. We're going to go back to that slide that's misplaced. But define the goal, assess the options, DAR, roadmap the strategy, execute and evaluate. So I want you to know this is how you innovate. This is how you strategize. Go through each one of these. What's your goal? Remember, we're doing our RISE framework, but when you get to the S, which is strategize and innovate, you need to do the DARE. I love my cheese. Once you figure out the first parts, you need to actually figure out, well, what is your strategy? Define what that goal is. All right, now I know I've got this issue. I've got a productivity issue. My goal is to what? Maybe you figured out you need a new piece of software. Maybe you figured out you need to eliminate some things. Whatever it is, define the goal. Assess your options. Do I need a new piece of software? Are there 10 different pieces of software I can go through? Is it that I need to get a hold of my time management, right? What are my options for managing my time? Roadmap it, make a decision, and then decide what you're going to do. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Execute and evaluate. Always, always, always go back, check it out. Is it working? Is it not? Can you pivot? Right? Go back and start doing the other strategy, the rise again. If it's not working, go through rise, end up at dare. And then after that, after that, embrace resilience. A lot of what? Embrace resilience. So that is the E in rise. Embrace resilience. And what does that mean? That means you have what it takes. You 100% have what it takes. How do I know that? Because you wouldn't have put yourself in this position if you didn't. And so figure out how you can fix the problem. Do you need help? Do you need to pivot? Do you need outside resources? Know that you've got it. Always look internally first because you have this, right? Your power of the mind, as I like to say, look at that. I will bounce back. Tell yourself, this is a phase, this is a season, this is a small mini obstacle in a world of possibilities. So embrace that and help push yourself through it. And if you need help, get a coach, get a mentor, join a group, have a networking party, whatever it is, meet people, get an accountability buddy. There are so many ways. Don't do it alone. That is the one rule. I should have made that rule number 1. Don't do it alone. All right, Dyson. So I don't know if you've ever heard of this company, but it is a vacuum. It's a lot more than that now, but it was a vacuum cleaning company when it first started out. And the guy's name was James Dyson. And his story is really cool. I forget, he had some issue with his vacuum cleaner, threw a baby rage and was like, oh, I could totally fix this. And he wanted to create bagless vacuum cleaners. So he starts trying to create a bagless vacuum cleaner. And I'm just going to look at my notes here. It took him 5 years, 5,127 reiterations, right? 5,127 prototypes in 5 years. That's over 1,000 a year. He had to recreate it. Talk about persistence. What is that? That is a true passion and belief in what you're doing. And if you do not have that unwavering passion for what you're doing, that unwavering faith in that you will get it done, this game isn't for you. You need to have both of those, because when you have that, I'm going to say come H or high water, right? One way or another, you're going to figure it out. And it may not look like it does today when you figure that out. But look at that. This is a crazy, incredible story. So that was his prototype. Once he got it to where it was working, he takes it to market. In our world, we kind of do this the opposite way. And this next thing I'm going to say would take out 99% of the population for sure. This is an incredible thing. He finally, after 5 years and 5,127 prototypes, he's got it. Now he takes it to the marketplace. They don't want it. He's got this amazing, cool idea, so innovative, so clean, so sleek, whatever. You don't even need a bag for your vacuum cleaner. It's amazing, and nobody wants it. Why? So disruptive. The vacuum cleaner people, they're thinking, that's my accessory. That's my other stream of revenue. You just chopped it off. I don't want that thing. So I don't know how many no's he got, but what he ended up doing was starting his own company. He got enough no's to realize this wasn't happening. So did he give up? Nope. He started his own company. Fast forward, I should have looked up when that was. I don't know when he started it, but fast forward a lot of years and he's still alive. He's like in his late 70s. He launches his vacuum cleaner back in the day. It becomes a bestseller. People love it. Of course, he built it for himself because he didn't want that bag, the mess, the hassle. So everybody else loves it too. Super cleaner market, right? And then what happens? He has a successful product and now he builds on it. Fast forward, it is a global technology company. They have a super wide range of innovative products, including air purifiers. So maybe you have one of those. Hand dryers, hair care technology, all sorts of different things. So Dyson is all over now. And James Dyson is worth $9.7 billion. I don't remember where he is on the list. I feel like the first time I looked, it was like 110, and the second time I looked, it was like 200 and something, but on the list of billionaires. But he is worth $9.7 billion. What if he had just said, oh God, this is too hard. I can't do it. I can't figure out how to make it. Or what if after he made it, he was like, nobody wants it. And he didn't. Why? Because he had unwavering, he had this massive passion for what he was doing. And then he had that unwavering faith in himself. So ask yourself if you have that, because obstacles are here to stay. We're going to go through obstacle after obstacle after obstacle in our business. That's why they call it that roller coaster, because you will face them. What you need to do is take your rise strategy and go through them and figure out how are you going to make it through it. You're going to make it through it. You've got this. Oh, I didn't do my who's Erica. We're going to skip that because we're at the end now. If you don't know me, DM me. I'd love to hear more about you and get to know you. All right, strategize, innovate. That was that last one. You did that. If you want the RISE self-assessment to help identify your current obstacles and challenges, DM me RISE and I will send it over. And I will also send you, obviously, a list of what RISE means. And there was something else I wanted to send you with it. Okay, bonus, you'll get something else with it. But, oh, the dare to innovate. All right, have an amazing day. If you are watching this on replay, hashtag replay. If you are here with me now, thank you so much for joining. And I will go back in and check out all of the comments. And I will talk to you later. If you have a topic that you'd love for me to discuss, I'd love to hear about it. And I love doing these Elevate and Engage. And it is all about making sure that you are stepping up to the plate, showing up, putting yourself out there, because to get visibility is not easy. To be an entrepreneur, to be a coach is not an easy game. But the ones at the top of their game are doing what? They're putting themselves out there on a day-to-day basis. They're getting that visibility. They are elevating their online presence at all times. So I want to help you do that. DM me and I will send you the RISE strategy and the assessment. All right. Have an amazing day. Stop my Facebook.